Yeah, so that's what we got going on today. I know it's backwards for the camera, but I got a Fidanza Performance aluminum flywheel. And then I got a McLeod clutch kit. This one is rated for up to 400 horses or foot-pounds, which the little 289, I don't think I can even handle making that much, so we should be safe for a good long time here with this clutch. It is a 3-finger clutch. I thought it was going to be a diaphragm, but you know what? It's rated for what I need it to be, so we're going to try it. So, the Fidanza. A little bit of reading to do here. So, those are our external weights, and here's some instructions. I've kind of half-assed skimmed these. So we gotta get the weight on that we want, and you might be able to see some marks here where I counted the teeth to make sure it was really 164, so I don't get screwed again like I don't have a 157. I kind of went through and counted them all in the packaging. Got a little label here, says, oh, it's fucked. All right. Got a little label here that says, wipe off the green coating from the friction plate with acetone-based product and cloth. So I just got back from Ace Hardware. I bought some acetone, some shop towels for here in the garage, so we'll do that. First order of business seems to be to put our weight on. So let's get this guy out of the packaging. That's an odd bolt. Let's go ahead and peel it out. Try not to tear anything up or damage teeth or anything. This is one of the more expensive parts I bought for the car. It's only $400. So, have nice things for once. Okay. So, now we have to put our weight on. Here's where I got to do some figuring. Such as, where the hell does the weight go? So the smaller is our 28-ounce balance, and it says that this big one is our, ignore that, the tripod turned into a bipod all of a sudden. So, let me fix that. Okay, we're back. So yeah, the tripod, one of those flexible ones, turned into a bipod on me today, right before I started. So that's what we're dealing with, and I really would like to get this in today, if possible. We'll see. I might have to come back tomorrow. Might need a helper. I don't know. So, balance weight instructions. External balance weights must be attached using provided hardware. Be sure to use a drop of permanent Loctite on each screw. No warranty, so go blank yourself if you break it. For balance weight, smaller weight is 28 ounce, larger is 50. If your engine is neutrally balanced, which mine is not, please use the provided button head screw to help provide a more, okay, that's what that's for. Precise balance of clutch and flywheel. Okay. So they have a little chart. 289s are 28 ounce, knew that already. Now, I'm not really patient enough for this game. We might have to wait till we get the other flywheel out to figure out where the hell this weight goes. It only comes with 2 bolts. That'll piss me off if that happens, to be honest. Or the weight would go on this side, wouldn't it? Man, there it goes. That's it. Okay. So here's what we got. It's the back of the flywheel. This is the engine side, not the clutch side. You can see we got our friction plate all bolted on here. It came like that. I didn't do shit. And we got a couple bolt holes here. So we're gonna run on like a 5 liter or a 351. We'd run this big one. You can see the 3 holes are tapped there. The interesting note is that it came with the button head and 2 countersunks when all the holes are countersunk. So we'll kind of check out the instructions for that here in a second, make sure we're not doing anything wrong. I don't think I've lost any screws, but I will check. Oh, we did. Ha, joke's on us. All right. So that's what we'll have to do, is bolt that guy on like that, and that's exactly how it goes. I'm gonna skim the instructions real quick. If there's anything I need to tell you guys, I will. And then after that, off camera probably, I'll just go ahead and put the Loctite on, their turb fuse retaining compound, highest strength permanent, with their slogan of the science of sticky. Just, you know, put a drop on just the first couple threads of all these. Yeah, that'll work. What I wanted to check was make sure that the holes weren't through holes, but it wouldn't matter because they're not through the pressure plate. So our friction surface will not get any thread locker on it, which is good. We don't want that, no matter how sticky they claim it is. So let me skim these and then we'll get back and start doing stuff. All right. So I've got my crappy pair of snips here, so this stuff never really comes off, so I don't want to ruin a good pair. So we'll clip it. Clip it more, it looks like, between these two little marks. Shake it a little bit. Sometimes you need to, sometimes you don't. And we're just gonna put, and it's hard to squeeze this tube. My hands are in constant pain from the day job. I think our sticky, oh, I'm gonna feel fucking retarded. Oh God. What is going on up in here? There's a cap on the back, guys, just so you know. Don't do what I just did. There it goes. Okay. Just a little bit. Drop her in. She's countersunk. She should self-center. I'm gonna sit down. This is a 3/16 Allen wrench, by the way, guys. So it should, I mean, it fits good. It shouldn't do anything but work. A little more here. Use the back like not an idiot. There we go. Just a little bit. It might be a 5 mil, but the 3/16 fits really good. I think a 5 mil would be too tight. We don't really want to have metric parts on our Ford anyway. Just saying. So I'm not getting these crazy tight right now. I'm just kind of getting them in there, let them self-center until I have all three in, and I'll work them down, snugging them. So, come on, a little more. Oh, a little more than that. Yeah, there's not a whole lot in this tube. There we go. So, last screw. Trying to be careful not to get thread locker all over stuff. Trying to get it in my hands. I don't want to end up with thread locker anywhere near the pressure, or the, I shouldn't say pressure plate, but maybe what it's called here. The pressure plate is on the clutch. So tighten these down, but our friction surface. So, German torque specs, good and tight. Sure everything's tight. The more I do it, the more this thing centers a little bit on the countersink. So I just want to make sure they're all the way down. Also, if this thing comes off a little bit, it's going to be a clearance issue. So that's that. Okay. So next thing I'm going to do it off camera is to pull the old flywheel off. I've already got the old clutch off. I'm gonna do it off camera because I gotta set some things up and put a bar in the front of the motor and stuff. Just, you know, put on the balancer to hold the crank from spinning on me when I try to do this. Obviously with the bolt out here, I can get a little bit more torque on it. But all right, so we got our small weight on, and then I should probably put the cap back on this before it leaks all over the place. Don't be an idiot. There's a threaded end. I was an idiot. I snipped it. I didn't need to. So. Let's check it out really quick. So yeah, real quick, what we can do before we, what we should have fucking done actually before I just did all that. We'll do it before the thread locker dries so I can claim it if I need to. Actually make sure this thing's gonna fit. It's been a long day at work and I kind of screwed up a little bit here, guys. So now we will have to hurry and test fit our clutch. This is on the Cloud Street Pro with all the paperwork right here. Let me get to the stickers, guys. It's got some cool throwout bearing stuff in here to read, so that's nice. Last time I didn't have that. My other clutch also had a sticker on it though that told me which way this pressure plate goes. Or the, that's not a pressure plate, that's a disc. It's all screwed up today, guys. Give me 1 sec here to figure this out. I don't think this would fit down there. Okay, so it's pretty obvious that's probably how that goes. So we're gonna check our bolt pattern. So this flywheel will work with a 10.5 or a 11-inch clutch. Someone said somewhere that it would work with a 10. I have a 10, but it's not quite rated for anything over 300, and it's a little worn. So I just got a clutch that would, well, work, you know, be in there for a long time. So I have to do this again. So we'll check our bolt pattern. Yeah, looks pretty good. Get over it here. Checking the camera right now. Yeah, so our bolt pattern looks good. It lines up. That being said, I'm not really sure that a 10-inch would fit when I look at it. Maybe. Get a couple things to look at on this. It looks like it's not, something's not quite right, but I'll check that out off camera. No, it's actually okay. So I think about how the clutch works for a minute. It's gonna push here, which will release the pressure plate. So yeah, it seems right. A lot of springs in there. So hopefully she holds. All right, guys. So that's gonna be it for right now. I'm gonna go back and see if I can figure out how to get that other flywheel off, that 157 tooth. Then we'll come back and maybe bolt this all together. All right, guys, so we're back. So we're gonna move all this stuff for now. Put the disc back in its package, and I'm probably just gonna cover it to protect it here. So old flywheel is off. Check the camera and get our new one ready here. So one thing I know about flywheels, we haven't done them before. I don't know if everything's like this, but a Ford certainly is. I can see some scratches now for my clutch. The flywheels, the bolt pattern isn't the same between holes. So they can only go on one way that way. They don't have a key or anything to orient them. So that's how they orient them, so that the weight is in the right spot relative to the balancer. Otherwise, that weight that we bolted on earlier would be in a different spot and not lined up with the weight that's on the balancer that makes the motor have that imbalance to it that keeps it rotating. So this is a little, I don't know what you call it, this is a plate that was on the flywheel. I'd marked it once before and to help me, because those holes not being a concentric circle, you want to know, you want a marker to line everything up. So I know that this is slightly off to the right, so it was kind of like this. I'm out of breath because the other flywheel's heavy. So we'll find it on here, make sure we can get these two lined up, then we'll make a mark. So I'm gonna go through, Well, that was easy. All right. So that's our mark, which means I'm gonna put a dot, this orange marker, or a line rather, through that hole and up the flywheel. I don't know how well it shows up on the camera, and that way I can have an indicator of just basically which way is up underneath there. So when I'm under the car doing this, I'm not juggling this whole thing around. Then once we do that, we'll go ahead while it's under the car and try to clean the flywheel up. Just that way we don't track any more oil onto it while we're working on it, because my hands are kind of greasy from just working on stuff underneath the car. So we'll do that. Let me get everything over there, and then I'll take you guys over there. All right, guys, so I'm sliding in here. Crap. Let's see, it's over there. All right, so we got our block plate here, our spacer plate. I know it's hard to see from back there with the GoPro. I'm gonna be in the way a lot here, so it's gonna be a little rougher, but it's the way it goes. So I'll try and stay low. I mean, this new flywheel isn't like extraordinarily light, but it is definitely lighter. So we're gonna try putting a bolt through where we put our orange mark, and then we'll try and line her up. It's always difficult when you can't see. So that should be it. Doesn't help that the spacer plate is completely flopping around on me here. Let me get a couple threads in, and then we'll go from there. So, all right. That seems to have worked all right. So now we'll try another bolt. So I have to wiggle this thing a little bit to line it up. It pretty much should get easier from here. Just putting these in loose, and then I'll hand tighten them. And then I gotta go move my breaker bar that's on the balancer to the other side of the car. Right now it's leaning against the driver's side frame rail. We'll have to go flopping all the way over when I try to tighten this. So instead I'm just gonna take it out and put it on that side so it hits the frame rail. It doesn't tear any wires out or anything. And we'll tighten this up. And then we're gonna wipe all this green stuff off like they say. And then hopefully we'll put a clutch on. I was just checking for wobble here. It seems like it's not a lot. So I'm using ARP bolts. I've used these bolts 3 times now. Probably shouldn't have kept using them. I'm sure they don't recommend that, but I mean, they're probably way better than a stock bolt. So go to tighten, and then one thing worth noting is you'll never see it on this camera, but there's a bolt up in here holding the spacer plate from falling completely off. That's just from experience. It's a pain in the ass when that thing keeps falling off. So, getting decently far tightening this. They said that the counterboard boss might be tight with aluminum because aluminum heats up twice as much, or expands twice as much. Actually, it should have been loose, so disregard. I'm sure this crank doesn't really appreciate having this many bolts torqued on it either. That's why I don't want to do this more than once. Screw the threads in your crank, you're kind of up shit creek, you know? About as far up shit creek as shit creek gets. So again, I'm not super tightening these, even though it may look like it. They're just snugging up on me. The threads aren't super loose, so they don't just stay loose until they tighten like a hardware store bolt. They snug up a little bit as you get them in there, kind of progressively. Okay, so this is the easiest it's ever gone for me, I'm gonna be honest. Maybe it's because I have a lot of practice now. But a little bit of prep work like that orange mark I put on with a paint pen earlier is realistically it's paying off huge. And one thing with this flywheel I should mention is SFI, which I feel good about having an SFI certified flywheel. And if you're wondering about SFI, what that is, that's basically a safety thing. So realistically, I shouldn't lose my legs from a flywheel coming apart. So I'm just gonna keep working at these, and then I'll go get the torque wrench and look up the torque for these and torque them. But I'll probably do that off camera. I'm gonna assume you know how to use a torque wrench. Come on, guys. There we go. I felt like it bottomed. Yeah, notice, I don't know if you guys can see this, but you'll notice where the flywheel is now in relation to the starter hole. It ought to work. So that earlier problem I had of having the wrong flywheel for the bell housing should be solved. Honestly, I would have wished I didn't do all that work for the clutch linkage on this bell housing. Because having a 157 tooth everything would have made my life so much cheaper and easier on parts. But, I mean, I'm kind of committed to this transmission and realistically this motor too. Okay, so these are getting tight now. Just working my way around here. Alright, so now it's going to be torque wrench time, and I'll put a little note in here somewhere about what the torque spec is supposed to be. I'll torque these off camera, and then I'm going to wipe the green film off and get that sticker off the green, and hopefully then tonight we'll bolt up the clutch. So, leave you with that.